situational awareness in crisis intervention. Kasi di ba napansin mo yung mga road rage dito sa atin sa Philippines, yung reaction ng aggressor, it doesn't seem normal, alright? Parang, are they dealing with mental issues? What do you think? Based on the videos, based on the videos taken from that scenario.
Yeah, I think it's culture, right?
Culture?
Yeah, part of that is culture. I don't want to say majority of that is culture. Second is ignorance of the people. If they know of all those people there that doing that, you will go to jail, right? They're gonna stop doing it because again, it's part of the education. Because they believe that when they put in certain situation, for them, being put in danger is different. They think of it differently, right? And we just talk about what that dangerous situation is. We just talk about those kind of 4 rules of using deadly force. They don't even think about that. For them, somebody yelling at them and potentially shooting them or potentially hitting them is putting them in grave and bodily harm without even knowing it. They're assuming, right? And so again, it's part of the education, part of being resilient. Again, the crisis intervention, right? Is it worth it? Like maybe you just need to de-escalate the situation, And I know I've seen some videos, people like chasing, people in the Philippines and shooting them on. It's not normal, right? But the thing is,
to say,
again,
yeah,
it is. It's I think it's definitely a big educational miss in the Philippines. Understanding what deadly force is and what's gonna happen to you and your family if you do this certain thing. Yeah, the aftermath. You have to think about the aftermath, right? Because are you willing to go to jail for that long, right? Because of what? Because you cannot control your anger, And again, it takes about it goes back to what I said earlier. Understanding yourself, right? If you're the type of guy that's always gonna fight, again, like me, right? You have to train yourself and understand that, hey, it's not worth it. Have those self-talk. I'm gonna ignore this guy, it's not worth it. I'm gonna carry on because I know what I'm gonna do. I know what I'm capable of. Those are the things I talk to myself about. Is it worth it? No. Because I can probably outgun and outfight this guy. Right? It's okay. It's not worth it. So that's part of my self-talk to myself. If I'm in that situation, prior to getting into, a point that I cannot control my anger. Right? But you have to understand yourself. And part of that is being put in those exposure and experience, whether it's training or reality. Right? That's why we go through scenarios, stressful scenarios, because then you know how your body reacts. Hey, are you going to be pissed because you missed something? Or you messed up something? Or are you going to freeze? Right? Or you're just going to go run away. Again, understanding those different reactions is good. It's a feedback for you, right? To kind of fix or harness later on, right?
Alright, so another thing is I remember seeing it says that with great power comes with great responsibility, right? Do you agree with that? Okay,
oh, yes.
So having a gun, do you consider this let's say you have more dominance because you have a pistol, you have the power because you have a pistol or a firearm? So if you consider yourself more powerful because you have a pistol or you have a gun, do you think that you must be more responsible? So the question is, in my opinion, as a license holder, a gun license holder, I was privileged to have a gun. This is not the right here in the Philippines. This is only a privilege to have a gun. So with this weapon, I think I should be more responsible. Okay, and I notice here in the Philippines, I'm not really ranting, right? But
Yeah.
there's really limited educations or trainings like what you're doing here in the States. Especially you're training civilians. You're educating civilians, not just by using a gun or making them accurate in shooting a gun, but you're also educating them with situational awareness, with the possibilities of dealing with legalities. So do you think that we should also have those types of trainings here in the Philippines?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you should have those trainings because, again, bottom line, right? Use of deadly force can be avoidable, right? When what do you call it? With the right education or the right training.
Right education
And-
and training. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because again, back to what you said earlier, it's all about being responsible. It's not about power because you have a gun. You're actually, you're being elevated into this position as a protector of yourself, your family, and your community, if necessary, right? Or when necessary, right? So, I mean, that is something that you, as a citizen, need to educate yourself on, train yourself on. Is that something? Are you even capable of doing? Right? Because it's not just about pulling the gun. It's about understanding on how you, as a protector, right, can protect your community. And again, that is, your family and so on, your loved ones. It's a big part of that. So, but yeah, and that's the reason why we carry concealed, so people don't know that we're carrying a pistol. Okay?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Excuse me. To protect, especially your family or yourselves, right? That's why you carry concealed. But it's not applicable here in the Philippines. They don't allow us to carry concealed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
yeah,
even worse, right? To some extent. So why are those scenarios happening in the Philippines when you cannot carry concealed?
Actually, it's not literally concealed carry. We can carry a gun outside our residence if it's inside a what do you call this? A bag or a container. That's what it says.
But
Yeah.
but there should be, I don't know, like I said, I'm not sure what the law is. Is that meaning you can put it in the bag and you're transporting to point A to point B?
Yeah. They allow us to do
Yeah,
that.
so
If we have,
it's for transportation. Does that mean it's for concealment and protection? Big difference.
yeah, I agree. They do not allow us to carry bodily talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So-
I don't consider that concealment because you're not always be ready to throw the firearm if it's inside a container or a box. So what's the use of carrying it? So I agree with you. That's only for transportation because it's in a container or a bag, right?
Yeah.
yeah. So ayun.
I think it's a big education gap or training gap in the Philippines. If you think about it, is that weapon is there because you're transporting it to go point A to point B to do training and things like that. It's not because you can pull that because somebody yelled at you and now you're pissed off and so now you feel threatened because you pissed off.
No,
Right? So,
I think for what I noticed in the Philippines is yung actually pag kami permit to carry ka, so pwede mong siyang i-carry with a bag. So there's two different things, the PTT, permit to transport, at yung isa is permit to carry. So pag may permit to carry ka, so pwede ka ring dala mo yung baril mo pero nasa sling bag mo siya or clutch bag. So in pagka nagkaroon ka ng kailangan mong gumamit ng deadly force, so pwede mo siyang gamitin. Iba rin yung PTT. Siya yung permit to transport siya para pagka pumunta ka sa gun range, pwede mo siyang magamit. Pero I think it's only good for 1 day. This permit to transport is only good for 1 day.
what about permit to carry? How long is that?
2 years. 2 years. The permit to carry is valid for 2 years. The limitations only says that you should put it in a bag or in a container. You cannot tuck it in your body.
What about
Just for
any training requirements for you to carry?
No.
no, there's no any training requirements. You only have for a certain types of group of people, for example, civilians, private employees, you have to have at least a threat assessment. There's a threat in your life. You have to carry a gun outside your residence. So, for some professionals like doctors, media personnel, or lawyers, ganyan, they don't need to secure a threat assessment because based on their profession, they already have a threat. The law considers it that because of their professions, there's a threat in their life, right? But if you're just a simple civilian, private employee, you have to secure a threat assessment for the PNP for them to issue you a permit to carry firearms outside of the residence. But as you mentioned earlier, you para sa akin, I agree with you, Tio. If you put it in a bag or a container, it is only for traveling. Diba? So, you have to have a training para mabilis mong mag-draw yung pistol if it's in a container or a bag. But
Yeah.
that's the law says, so we have to follow it.
And here's what I tell people over here. Dito sa US, before you drive, right? Either you go get a driver education or somebody train you, right? Before you can drive a vehicle. The vehicle here, I think is, I don't know what the count is. I think it's the number one causes of deaths in the States. Like a lot of accidents, a lot of people die. Right? And people are getting educated, getting training before they hop on a vehicle. And I consider the same thing in gun, right? You need to
Yeah, I agree.
train how to use that tool, right? So it's no different than again driving a vehicle, which is a 5,000-pound tool, right?
Yeah.
Or metal. So
Okay, hold on. I'm just going to get some water. Hold on.
yeah.
So I just want to take this opportunity is like para may masabi kung yung ginagawa ng D5 Rubicon dito sa yung pagti-training is to train some people na or our fellow Filipinos na matutunan yung defensive gunfighting, yung magkaroon ng magandang mindset. Because napapansin ko kasi dun sa mga napapanood ko sa social media, yung mga nagtitrain is hindi, I mean like, wala. Kung mapapansin mo, wala siyang mindset. At the same time, most of the training are only meant for law enforcement. So, I think napakahalaga para sa mga gun owners na ma-distinguish muna yung gusto nilang tahakin or yung gusto nilang matutunan bago sila bumili ng barel. So it's kasi katulad nung sinabi ni Tio is merong scars of training eh. So yung good habit para sa sport shooting magiging bad habit para sa gunfighting at yung good habit para sa gunfighting ay magiging bad habit sa sport shooting, so vice versa. So I think napaka-importante nun na malaman muna nung mga estudyante kung or nung gun owner kung ano mismo yung gusto niyang gawin.
That's right.
Tama. This is really a nice topic. I'm recording it naman. So, sabi niya, ito nga yung sabi ko kanina. Nakikita niyo ba ako? Do I have videos?
No.
Oh no, you don't have.
Ako. If I click this,
Yeah,
meron ako.
you have one.
I
Yeah,
have to.
you have cam.
Yeah.
So, ayan. Wait lang. Actually, kasi nga parang napakaganda ng ginagawa nyo sa dyan sa US. Yung ginagawa nyo ng mga training na ganyan. Yun yung lacking dito. Yun nga yung medyo, yun nga may scarcity na trainings. Meron mga nagtitraining dito sa atin, sa Pilipinas, pero I don't want to what do you call this? Degrade ba? Proper term na. Kasi parang last time na nag-usap kami ni Jericho, parang ano ba? Is it like stolen valor? Something? Like Jericho? Na? Where did the foundation came from? So, kasi medyo pricey I don't know if you have an idea of how much they are really gano'ng sinisingil nila dito. Some parang 15,000, tama? Ikaw?
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Yeah, somewhat like that.
There's 12, there's 15,000, 15 pesos. So, sabi ko, if I will participate in that training,
I think
my
I think this is a good question to Tio. So, ano yung pwedeng i-expect ng mga yung dapat i-expect ng mga tao, ng mga gun owners kapag nag-train sila sa isang defensive gunfighting? So, as you as the owner of D5 Rubicon, ano yung dapat na matutunan ng mga gustong matuto sa paghawak ng baril?
Yeah, I think the first thing first is, again, we call it defensive gunfighting, defensive shooting, defensive pistol. But it comes down to the first thing first is understanding the defensive mindset. What's that look like? Diba? You have to put yourself in that situation and thinking from that perspective, because it's no longer just you getting to shoot faster, right? Or really fast, right? It's about applying the mindset of going through the process. Hey, what do I need to do to ensure that after the fact or aftermath, right? I'm actually going to be on the right side of the law. That is because that's the class. That is defensive gunfighting, right? Somebody is trying to do something to you, and that's why you are applying self-defense, right? So it's not competition. We're not doing tactical, right? It's not offensive. It's defensive. So applying the mindset first. So that's the first thing we teach. And how do you build that mindset? Some of those things that I introduce to the folks, right? Is getting to get used to the sound of the gun, right? That it's okay right? Because your body is gonna adapt to it, right? Again, part of our body's reaction is, hey, we don't like loud noises, right? So getting your body used to that. Now you're training your body to go, okay, it's okay, right? And now training your SNS, right? Now you can go, I can control my emotions, or I can control it. So as time progresses, right, you're not gonna freeze, right? You're actually gonna be able to action something. So again, that's part of that mindset of gunfighting. You're muted, then.
I'm sorry, I'm on mute. I was talking, but I'm on mute. And yun nga, as I mentioned, it's really good that a special forces, a former military, special forces is conducting trainings such as this one. And parang it is only an advocate to help. You are just sharing your knowledge, right? You are sharing your ability to people who doesn't have the opportunity to join the military, to have a proper training, right? You're sharing it now since you're retired, right?
Yes, yep.
Yeah, a retired soldier, special forces soldier, and sharing your knowledge is really. I was hoping, I'm really hoping that magkaroon dito sa atin sa Pilipinas, and I'm hoping that you can bring D5 Rubicon here in the Philippines.
We'll see.
And one of these days, maybe, if you have time to, let's say, you can schedule a training, because hindi naman ganun kadali yun, di ba? Siyempre, you're in the States, di ba? Hindi naman ganun kadali na basta-basta ka lang mag-schedule,
I just think it's gonna be insane. I don't think I'm gonna be able to bring my guns there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. And also those paraportals like the guns and let's say their availabilities of the ranges, mga ganyan. So maraming kailangan consider.
But
So,
yeah, I know, but
hopefully-
I don't need to bring my guns. I mean, I can definitely teach without it, right?
Yeah, tama. Pwede naman, di ba? Pwede naman. And the participants, actually, they have maybe if one day you bring the D5 Rubicon training team here in the Philippines, kasi yung mga participants naman, they have licensed guns, they have lethal guns here in the Philippines. They can share them.
Yeah, I have one more question. I think it's beneficially for those who wants to buy a gun or who wants to learn about gunfighting or sport shooting. I just want to, can you give us your own opinion about those, Instagram videos, YouTube videos that showing how to perform some drills tactically or defensively? Enough ba yun para matuto ka, or mas binibigyan mo ng halaga yung mag-train na meron talagang siyang coach? So disclaimer to because we are doing D5 Rubicon, just hindi siya profitable dito, ginagawa namin to, or ni Tio, is just for helping Filipino community here na magkaroon ng proper training. Sabi nga ni Tio, is like giving back to the community. So yun, sa iyong opinion, mas mas maganda ba kung magti-train sila sa mga training company or enough na yung manood ng video?
Oh, you're gonna get the right source, like credible source, right? Like what I said earlier. You have to vet the instructor. What's their background? Depending kung anong training ang sinisik mo, whether again tactical, defensive, or sport shooting. If the instructor I cannot teach sport shooting. That's not my background, right? So I admit that right away. And so again, part of that vetting piece. If I start teaching sport shooting, then I'm no longer a credible instructor, right? So, yeah.
So get back to you, Orville. I think you're muted.
Sorry.
Good.
Hindi naman parang I don't think that Tio is interested in teaching competitive shooting, right?
Yeah, I don't think that's my lane, to tell the truth. Yeah, because defensive and tactical has been in my life the last how many years, right? I mean, although there's a valid argument that sports shooting can only help, right? But I already built a lot of bad habits for me to do sports shooting, and I'm not going to change those bad habits per se, right? Just to compete. And it's not because that I'm scared of sports shooting. I mean, Echo can attest. I used to compete a lot in jiu-jitsu. I love competition. I was doing
I've seen
everything.
one.
I was doing
I've
everything.
seen one.
Yeah.
I've seen one of your videos. Jericho sent it me. I was really my reaction is really, oh, that's amazing. You fight. Parang mas matangkad siya sa'yo, di ba? Parang malaki yung Americans eh.
I mean, I'm always the smallest guy whenever I fight. Well, my point is, I used to love I love competition. Again, fighting, all that stuff, right? And I just loved it. And so I'm no longer trying to do that. My goal now is again self-preservation, right? And so that's why I want to continue on my defensive mindset, right? The tactical piece, if I have to lean on my tactical experience. And even my jiu-jitsu is just that, to make sure that I'm still, I still can do what I can in the past. I no longer see competition. I'm not there anymore, right? I'm getting old, my body's getting old, right? And getting older, so what I do, love the fact that, I want to maintain and make sure the mindset's still there.
And parang kasi ang trend here in the Philippines is that most of the gun clubs, the clubs that they are always parang ang focus nila is always on the competitive side. Yung mga gun club kasi dito sa Philippines, laging parang ang focus nila is competition. I haven't seen any gun club na nag-offer ng mga ganitang training katulad ng ginagawa. That's why I mentioned Jericho. Sabi ko nga kay Jericho. If one day you can Tio can bring this training here in the Philippines. Sabi ko mas maganda kung if we, let's say, mag-put up tayo isang gun club here in the Philippines, but the focus is not for competitive shooting.
That's actually,
Educational, situational awareness.
and I think that's gonna bring a lot of good, right? I mean, if you do it, if you plan it and market it for that perspective and build it,
yeah.
I think the cops are even gonna help you out, because again, what you're trying to do is build the right mindset to avoid those dangerous situations happening.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
And I hope this video will serve as an eye-opener for all those gun holders here in the Philippines. That it's not just owning a gun. And you said to yourself, I'm a responsible gun owner. I'm always a responsible gun owner because my gun is licensed. It's named after me. So, But you don't have a proper training. You don't know what is mind setting, di ba? You don't
Yeah.
know what is situational awareness or a a simple basic knowledge.
I think,
Or maybe you have the training, you can shoot, and you can shoot really well. But the question is, that's not always the first resort. You don't go into a gun right away, and it goes back to, I can shoot a gun really fast. So now I'm going to go shoot this individual really fast without getting into those, right? Getting into your mental checklist of going, hey, would this be a deadly force situation? Yes or no? Right? I mean, you go through that process really quickly, and that's part of the training, right? So as you're having that, verbal interaction or altercation with that individual, it's already going into your head, right? That you know what, this is not the time and place, right? Let's just say, for example, I guess since we're in this topic, let's just say you're in the market, you're having that conversation. Guess what? You're not gonna shoot in the middle of the market, right? Because you are responsible for any ammos that goes out of your pistol. So, and you probably know this. Whenever we shoot, we just don't shoot one time in a gun situation. Whenever a gun is involved, there's not one shooting. There's multiple rounds. Multiple rounds, and you are responsible to all those rounds that comes out of your pistol. So, and again, it's that should be going through your head. Hey, am I in the right environment? Right? Is this the right situation? Am I willing to go to jail or take a life, innocent lives, right? Because of my decision. If not, well, maybe it's time to de-escalate.
Yes.
So,
Turn my back and ignore.
yeah, so,
I remember.
Okay.
I remember this news. Meron kasing isang parang businessman. He's a businessman. He's a licensed gun owner. And alam mo naman, parang if you're familiar dito sa atin sa Philippines, yung mga basketball leagues, barangay leagues, right? Meron tayong tinatawag na manager. And they're the one who's what do you call this? Sponsors for the uniforms of the players, something like that. And during the game, during the basketball game, there's some altercations that happening there. And the manager draw his gun. And dahil niya yung parang hindi niya masyadong yung kalaban na. So, from a responsible person, all of a sudden, you become an unresponsible. Because, as I mentioned earlier, as also you mentioned it, that there's a scarcity of trainings or educations in terms of handling gun safety here in the Philippines. I really couldn't find any training institutions here in the Philippines that is conducting trainings like yours there. We have here some gunfighting techniques training, but I don't think the ones that you're doing there, like the one that you mentioned, they're doing it here as well in the Philippines. So I'm really thankful if you are really have a plan bringing this here in the Philippines, the Big 5 will be done. I really appreciate it, guys.
yeah,
Okay.
who knows?
All right.
We can maybe plan for it.
So Tia, just a quick opinion. Can you give the viewers for a warning for, like the concept of scars of training?
Warning them? What do you
Scars of training. So, because hindi mo alam kung tama yung tinitrain mo, so nagbi-build ka ng bad habit.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, I agree.
can you give them? Because I think most of the person na napapanood ko sa YouTube, ay meron kasing na parang yung conceptualize nila na kapag it's all about mabilis kang bumunot ng barel, but they overlook yung bad habit eh. So, katulad yung magbigay ako ng example. So when they're aiming, right, after they second shot, they tend to look on the target. Because I think if you're doing that most of the time, you magiging prone ka sa ganun eh. Pagka napalaban ka, pagputok mo ng dalawa, then you're gonna check kung tinamaan ba o hindi. Because that's what you're doing.
Actually, the trainings that needed here in the Philippines, katulad nga yung mga ganyan, katulad ng sinabi mo na the proper mindset, the first thing that a participant should think before joining a training is saan ang galing ang foundation ng trainer, yung instructor, saan galing ang foundation niya. Is he a professional soldier, an ex-military, or a law enforcer, or let's say an ex-policeman? So, where's the foundation coming from? And kasi, yun yung number one. Kasi, yun, if the instructor is really, let's say, a former military or a policeman, ang matututunan mo sa kanila is the proper way.
But don't forget na marami sa atin ng person in uniform na ang practice nila competition. Marami akong nakikita, the reason that's why I want to ask the opinion of our instructor or Tio is may mga person in uniform but wala akong masamang intention or para i-discredit sila sa ginagawa nila. But, when you're in the uniform and you have the holster for competition, yung trigger guard lang yung nakasabit, and yung duty pistol mo, pinalitan mo yung trigger for 2.5 pounds, I just want to ask the opinion of Tio or kaya yung sinasabi kong scars of training, dapat alam mo yung proper tools and yung proper na equipment para dun sa ginagawa mo.
Yeah, and so the thing is, some of those people that probably doing that never really thought about, getting in a fight, in a scuffle with somebody, right? When more than likely you're gonna go on the ground and your pistol is gonna hit something, right? They're not going to all those things that what could happen. That's why there's different levels of holsters, because it just protects you. Because as a human being, if you get in a fight, the first thing we tend to do is grab somebody, or grab a pistol, or grab a weapon, right? So if you're open as a law enforcement, or as a cop, if you're thinking that you can apply the same mentality as a competition shooter when you're out in the street, right? I don't think it's going to do you any good. Right? It's not the same. It's the same thing. It's the same thing for us in the military, especially in combat MOSs or combat jobs, right? Infantry or special forces. It's the same mentality that we do. Every placement that we do in our gear have a purpose, right? I know exactly where my secondary knife is. It's there all the time. My sock P dagger, I know exactly where it is. It's in the same place, right? My holster is the same holster. It's always my gun is always secured, right? Everything is in the same place. So if I go in that place, it's secured. It's not going to go anywhere, right? Even if I'm on the ground fighting, right? And people don't think about those. Things can go ugly really quickly, right? Especially in a gunfight, because people tend to grab a pistol if they don't have one, or if they have a knife, right? And that's the thing. People, I go back to exposure and experience. If you've been exposed into those scenarios before, or have experienced, like have seen somebody, you learn your lesson, right? You change things, and you change your mindset. But that's the thing. You have to teach people that it takes exposure and experience and training, right? for you to change those bad habits.
Yeah, I agree. And just so the viewers know, Tio is an ex-military, the Special Forces, and also you also served as a policeman for almost a year, right? Is that correct? Because
Maricopa County,
yeah.
in the sheriff's office, yeah, in
in the sheriff's office,
Arizona.
yeah. Just so the viewers, just so you know, guys, Tio serves also as a policeman. And he's an ex-military, an ex-special forces, an ex-policeman. So, and now his advocacy is training civilians in the States, Filipino Americans. He is training civilians to have knowledge, to share his knowledge,
Yeah, but
what,
yeah,
what he has learned.
even though that is correct, I just want to make sure that everyone here is aware. I was actually in transportation unit when I was in the sheriff's office. So I wasn't like a beat cop or anything like that. So, because again, I was pretty new when I was there. I wasn't a beat cop. I was in transportation, so I didn't deal with like handling tickets and all that stuff. I was transporting inmates, but it was. Yeah, it was for a different story. I had a lot of great story that I learned during that 1 year of experience at the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office. Because that was
Pag-usapan natin yan.
that's
Next
Tent
time.
City. Again, that was Tent City. There's a lot of riots. Again, it goes back to building resiliency, right? And again, we can talk about it for a later time.
Yeah.
I've got involved in a lot of riots, a lot of pepper spraying, and yeah, it just kind of helps me. And I've actually seen people act a certain way because that was the first time they've been put in those situations. Right? So, yeah, for a different time.
Okay, so yeah, I think so tapusin na natin to. Bigyan lang natin si Tio ng siguro kung ano yung ma-advise na sa atin, then he can plug his YouTube channel, yung nagre-review siya. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So just give an advice for the viewers and don't forget to plug your YouTube channel.
Ako muna.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Similar po. So Tio here is the owner of D5 Rubicon, conducting trainings for civilians. There are some certain levels of trainings, right, Tio, that you conduct under your instruction while you're doing this trainings. So can you tell us more about this?
Yeah, so I mean, I teach defensive shooting. I teach concealed weapons. Actually, I'm certified in many states, right? Teaching concealed weapons training, and that's home training as well. I'm also qualified teaching women's marksmanship training, so through USCCA and marksmanship simplified training, part 1 and 2. That gives you additional kind of pointers on how you can be a better marksman or better shooter, right? So again, those are the things that I'm qualified to shoot based on USCCA, and obviously I've trained with a lot of different companies from a tactical training perspective, with whether it's Griffin Group or what's the other one? Blackwater, or the lone operator training. So I had some advanced training, whether it's in pistol, rifle, or combatives in the military. So those are the things that I try to teach or share to folks when it applies, right? To make them a better person or protector.
Okay. So can you tell us more also what are the benefits if they participate in the trainings? What are the things what are the takeaways after the training?
Yeah, I think outside of getting to know your weapons, right? Whether it's your primary, secondary, right? Your long gun and your pistol. It's the application of the mindset, and every drills that we do, it applies to certain scenarios, right? There's a reason why we're doing the drills. We're not doing it just for the sake of doing the drills. There's an actual application, and those are the things that I share the group on why they do what they do, right? And the bottom line, there's a culmination event that we do that kind of put all those things together, and what they can see is everything that they've been doing, all these individual drills ties together. Right? It's the same thing we do in the military, same thing we do in SF, right? We train, certain drills, and then we build up to the main event, right? The culmination event, that's the main event. Now everything ties, now everything makes sense. Now it clicks, everyone learns, and they go, okay, it makes sense why I'm doing what I was doing.
Yun. And that's what they're going to learn if they participate in D5 Rubicon.
That's right.
From a special forces, ex-military special forces person, this is what they can get. Right? So yun. So hopefully
Y-
you can share your
Just
trainings as
I think you're right, Iraq War veteran, and the same time was that Afghanistan, right?
What's that?
OIF,
Oh, yeah.
OIF.
Can you also share some of your tour as a military? Some of your tours?
Yeah, so I
It's just a
was.
simple.
So I was in the Iraqi invasion in 2003. I was with 3rd Infantry Division. I was on the initial push. So we're the first one in Baghdad, right? That's a different fight altogether. I was riding on top of the turret of an M1 Abram, right? And then you have A-10 Warthogs above you, like circling above and doing things. And we're doing bunker clearing on the street of Baghdad, right? Because they have bunkers they dug in. So as a young infantryman, those are the things that I got exposed to right away. Of course, killed a lot of folks, captured a lot of folks there. That was essentially the beginning of my combat experiences. Joined SF, obviously deployed to Iraq, right? I was a weapons sergeant, so tactically that was my tactical was my expertise, right? So I led a lot of combat missions with the team. And then culminating as a team sergeant, that was my job. Actually, I was intelligence SF. Well, in SF, I was doing intelligence too, and then move on to becoming a team sergeant. Right, took a team to Afghanistan, my ODA, Operation Detachment Alpha. So that was my last combat rotation, which was 2018. So I had a lot of deployments, both combat, non-combat deployment, South Asia, Southeast Asia, Middle East. So lots of countries. Yeah. So again, back to my point of situational awareness, right? Depending on where you're at, things are going to be different, right? As you know, in the Philippines, we're always aware. We're really a resilient people in the Philippines, right? Because floods, hurricanes, crimes, political stuff, all these things are, I don't know, for some reason it's been going on in the Philippines for I don't know how long. So we're resilient people. I think that's one thing that I tell folks is I'm used to a lot of those things. Before when I got here to the U.S., I've seen majority the things that a normal 16-year-old in the U.S. would not see, right? And so I've seen all that, and then now in the military, going into all this third world country, right? It's the same thing, right? So it's And I know I don't want to go into the politics of the U.S. I know a lot of folks complain about what's happening in the country or the state of the U.S. But man, go to a different country, go to a third world country. You're going to have an appreciation of what we have here. So, but yeah, I know I kind of digress on what we're talking about. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
So don't forget to plug your YouTube channel. No, take this opportunity.
Yeah. Tell us about your YouTube channel, Tio.
Yeah, so
And
it's
what's
called
all about?
Yeah, it's called a Tactical Edge Operator 1776, right? It's all about just reviewing EDC, you know, things, knives, right? My intent is to kind of scale it. I'll be doing some, you know, gun reviews, going to the range. I'm just starting, right? This is just a starting point for me, even though I have a lot of shorts right there. But it's a lot of knives right now. I'm really, that's something that, you know, I love, you know, I love, what do you call it, doing is, again, knife fighting. I'm training Kali. I was training knife fighting for a long, long time, so.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tio. Actually, I'm really grateful to have you in my channel. I actually, bago lang din ako, started this channel this year. And I'm so grateful to know you guys, both of you, Tio and Jericho. And I hope this video will serve as an eye-opener for those Filipinos who are really licensed gun holders, for them to realize that they must have training, proper training.
And proper
Not
mindset.
just by, and proper mindset, yes, correct. Not just by shooting guns.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The proper education. And that is going to happen with the help of someone like Divide Rubicon.
Yeah, 100%. And if they disagree, right, we can have cordial discussions about it, right?
Yeah.
So it's all about having open discussions and and just having some fun, man.
Okay, so guys, for the viewer, one of these days maybe if kasi medyo busy si Tito and actually we planned this for almost a month. And next time if Tio has some spare time, maybe we can discuss this. Can we do live, Tio? Maybe we can get some live questions from the viewers. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's do live.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I
Let's
think
do
so.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we can set that up again.
Yeah, so
Schedule it and then
schedule it.
maybe we can, let's say, meron tayo magbigay tayo mga konting topics and then you can answer some live questions from the people side. Coming from a professional soldier.
Yeah, I think if we can get this video out and it has a positive,
Yeah.
you know, what we call it, positive take,
Outcome.
from the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can definitely plan it, man, right away. You know, we don't have to wait.
Yeah.
So like again, happy to do it.
And as I mentioned earlier, I hope this will serve as an eye-opener for the Filipinos here in the Philippines that is legally owning a gun. Guys, let us do some trainings. Let's educate ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's a responsibility to have a gun or a pistol or power in your hand, but we should be 100% responsible, and that will happen with the help of someone professionally and experienced person like Tio, with the help of Divide Rubicon. Thank you so much, Tio and Jericho, for having you both here in my channel. I hope we can do it this type of conversation or discussions again in the near future.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
That's it. Thank you,
Alright.
guys.
Yeah, thanks for the time. Bye-bye.
Everyone jump, master falling from the sky. Every day, carry, never gonna die.